Odelia, I need you to drink this. La Llorona lifted my head off the pillow and put a warm glass to my mouth. Drink, child, your life depends on it. It took all of my strength to open my mouth and sip the warm liquid in that glass. It was bitter and tasted like rancid grapefruit juice. Cringing, I started to spit it out, but La Llorona coaxed me until I swallowed the rest of it down. Suddenly, I felt it, the need to puke. I flipped the sheets aside, jumped out of bed, and ran into the adjoining bathroom. My rubbery legs almost giving way under me, I reached the toilet just in time to empty the vile contents of my stomach into it. What did you give me? I asked. I turned on the bathroom light and rinsed my mouth in the sink. I was so weak I had to rest my upper body on the vanity. I've never been so sick in my life. I felt like something ill was festering in my stomach, and my head felt like a piñata stuffed with cotton balls. It's Cecilia's sweetness, La Llorona explained. It took control of you. The goddess sent me to give you a little bit of help to make you expel it. We need to wake my sisters. I made my way back to the bed and sat on the edge because the room was still spinning a little. Where can I get more of that stuff you gave me? Come, follow me, La Llorona commanded from the doorway. Now that I could notice more than my own sickness, I saw that her hair was not white anymore, but dark and just as disheveled as it had been when I'd first seen her on the riverbank. Her eyes were deep hollows, and her cheeks were gaunt, but she wasn't scary. She just looked like a tired woman again. With a wave of her hand, the door opened, and La Llorona went through it. She was the only one who could help me now, so I followed her out of the bedroom. She walked down the stairs without making a sound. My own feet felt as light as feathers as I stepped over the floorboards, and I wondered if it was her miraculous tonic making me feel so weightless and swift. Quietly, we made our way through the spacious living room and past the formal dining room, guided by the bright light coming from the far end of the house. La Llorona stopped just short of entering the kitchen. We stood hidden in the shadows of the hall, La Llorona in front of me, with me looking over her shoulder. Someone was moving around in the kitchen. Who's that? I asked quietly so as not to be heard. Cecilia and Su Gloria, in all her spectral splendor, La Llorona whispered as an ancient haggish woman walked into view. This is her true form. The woman you see by day is an illusion reflected by the sunlight. It is created by the potion she mixes in this kitchen and then secretly adds to her special treats. It seemed unreal to me, but the woman in the kitchen was wearing the same clothing Cecilia had worn that morning. Her hair, however, was as gray and dusty as moth wings, and her sagging, wrinkled skin almost hung off her face like a worn leather sack. She was grinding out something hard in a big, black, three-legged mortar. The molcajete's legs kept thumping against the table, making an ominous rhythmic sound. Her discolored tongue poked in and out of her prunish mouth, and she puckered and twisted her craggy lips as she ground a coarse white substance into powder with a big fat pestle, just like the one Mama uses to make her homemade salsas. What is she doing? I asked. Getting ready for tomorrow, La Llorona whispered, pushing me deeper into the shadows of the hall. Cecilia is baking for you and your sisters. You have become her special pets. But that wasn't any ordinary baking Cecilia was doing in here, because unlike Mama, she wasn't swallowing any of the powdery concoction herself as she tasted it. Instead, every so often, she would test its consistency by rubbing a pinch of it between her thumb and forefinger, just a little on the tip of her tongue, and immediately spit it out. When she was done grinding the unusual ingredient, she spooned its fine white particles into a miniature sieve and dusted the top of 4 freshly baked pies with it. What is that? Some kind of sugar substitute? I asked, touching La Llorona's shoulder to get her attention. To be sure, La Llorona whispered, turning back to me. Its sweetness comes from the seeds at the heart of the chinchontle plant. It is a sedative more potent than any sleeping pill you can buy at a pharmacia.